Welcome to the T-SEDA Guide to Completing Your Self-Audit. The self-audit is your first tool in the T-SEDA pack, and it helps you to think about your current classroom dialogue practice. If you have a printed copy of the pack, you'll find one in there, or you can download it by visiting the website link which you can see on the right-hand side of the page. You'll see some statements which ask you to think about what dialogue looks like in your classroom at the moment. On the left-hand side of the screen, there are some statements asking about what you do in your teaching at the moment. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see some statements which are around your classroom dialogue culture. For each statement, give yourself a rating in the My Rating columns. If something rarely happens in your classroom, put a number 1. If it sometimes happens, put a number 2, and if it usually happens, put a number 3. Do this for each statement. Remember, your self-audit is only for you to think about your current classroom dialogue practice. The aim is to help you think about where you might like to focus your inquiry. This is an example of some statements where the teacher has given herself a rating. Although you can see that she values student talk in her lessons and it usually happens in her classroom, for the last statement, encourage children to be responsible for their own learning, she's given herself a rating of 1. Completing the self-audit helped her to realise that although she valued student talk highly, she wasn't always confident enough to allow children to be responsible for their own learning and their own dialogue, which meant there was still a lot of teacher talk in her class. She used this to form the basis of her inquiry. Now that you've completed your self-audit, you should have a better idea about what you'd like your inquiry into classroom dialogue to focus on. Have a look at our guides on the T-SEDA coding scheme and on completing your inquiry template to carry on with the next step of your inquiry process.
Created using Powtoon.